Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my Monday Morning Rants. Um, it's been a long time since I've done one of these. I suppose I had a whole year of recovery last year, um, and started a design company and a photo studio, and that really kept me on the rails for 12 months. Thanks to Di, Chris, and Nick. Um, Towards the end of last year, I um, I just had to hit the eject button. Um, I really felt like I'd been there before. I love graphic design, but my first love was always art. So having to sacrifice so much of my creativity for clients just didn't feel right for me. Like I said, I've been there before. I've done my time with graphic design, and um, going forwards, I think I need to stick to much more creative avenues and respect creativity and uh, not compromise so much on it. Um, so yeah, I've been off the meds. My my antidepressants slash bipolar meds for a good couple of months now, maybe even 3 months. Um, and a little bit after that, I was on sleeping pills just to get me to sleep, because that's what the meds always did really well for me. Was I'd take this tiny little pill and get knocked out within half an hour for 7 8 hours. And um, in retrospect, I like to think that the medication, all it really did for me was help me sleep, which was something that I didn't do for a couple of years before that. Um, so been weaning off the meds wasn't too hard, especially with the sleeping pills. That kind of helped. Um, and now without the sleeping pills at all, I have really broken sleep. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. I think a lot of it's probably got to do with the fact that I do not exercise, and I probably don't spend enough energy during the day in order to get tired enough to have a good night's sleep. But yeah, it's something that I need to figure out. Um, but a few months back, I was on a podcast with a mate of mine, Leslie, who was a client of mine last year as well. And listening back to that podcast, which I really find it hard to listen back to podcasts in general that I do, because I'm a bit of a loose cannon and I don't really know what I'm going to say. So chances are, when I listen back to it, I'm going to cringe at some of the shit that I say. But listening back to that podcast, there was a bit in it where we talked about um, not giving a fuck. And I think, I'm the kind of person that's not ever really given too much of a fuck about what people think of me, so long as, I've always lived my life with this concept of like, I'll do okay so long as I'm inspiring other people. That was kind of like the main goal, the main reason for being for me for a lot of years. But having lost that, uh and I think just being in a state where you're on these meds and you don't have the high highs, and you don't have the low lows, and you kind of flatline. And well, I was really flatline. Like, I just felt like just like I didn't care, but I also didn't get excited about anything. And if anything, I started to get pretty bitter about stuff. So um listening back to that podcast and hearing me talk about um truly not giving a fuck about doing anything, like just nothing felt worthwhile. um it kind of woke me up a little bit. And I think getting off the meds and getting off these sleeping pills has really helped for me to um just feel a lot sharper, more motivated. Like, I honestly feel more motivated than I have in a really long time. um, I actually have moments of feeling really hungry to start something new. Um, and that's the old me. Like, I was always this obsessive, compulsive kind of person, always dying to get into something with all that I've got, like the kind of person that put put my head on the pillow at night and all I could think about was the thing that I was working on. Um, and like, whether or not that is healthy for me, I and whether that's the reason why I lost it in the first place, I'm kind of willing to go back there because I feel so much more alive when I'm obsessed with something rather than just like being nonchalant about everything. Um, so yeah, so I'm really glad it's taken a really long time to get back in front of this microphone and camera, but um, the podcasts are a great way for me to just rant and get shit off my chest. I never really cared much whether people watch them or not. I think it's just more a form of expression for me, and I'm really looking forward to doing more podcasts again with other people. um, I'm getting back to that point now where when I do catch up with someone, so much awesome shit is said that I almost wish I had a recorder there and recorded the conversation. So, I suppose I'm starting to care again. I'm also gaming a lot less. Like, I've always been of the mindset that like gaming is super unhealthy if you're doing it like 10 hours a day. It just, it's it's got to do with like you get really good at the games and you achieve a lot of things within the games, but the achievements are virtual. They're not real. um uh I, I don't know. I personally, I don't do well when I'm gaming a shit ton, and I'm quite consciously aware of that now. I think some sort of balance there is good for me. um Speaking of gaming as well, like one of the guys that is on our Discord channel, him and I have created a a Geeked Out podcast. It's pretty fun actually. We've done 2 episodes already. Um, I've always thought that the geeks are the coolest people in the world. Like the whole concept of being into something, like geeking out about stuff. I think it's a really good thing. So him and I are like polar opposites. He's a lot younger than I am as well, and we butt heads a shit ton when we're talking about like anything, like BLM or SJW stuff, or man, we just lay into each other on Discord. So we both thought it'd be a really good idea to start a channel. Like initially when he mentioned that he'd like to start a channel, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna end up doing all the work. And I was still in that frame of mind of like, fuck, I don't want to do any work. But it's amazing when you actually just do it, and we did it. And only a few people saw it. We got a little bit of feedback, but that feeling of doing something as opposed to just talking about it, uh, it's so rewarding, and it's something that I'm super into. Oh, hey, Mia. Um, so yeah, I'll leave a description, link in the description below about the Geeked Out podcast. And I started writing again as well. Like I dove straight into it and wrote a little bit on booking an escort for the first time in my life. And I didn't really feel nervous at all about writing it or posting it. If anything, I felt nervous about like, am I going to offend any sex workers out there with what I was going to say? But I I just I had to do it. Like I had to. I felt like that motivation was there to write it, to get it out there. And the amount of feedback that I got in private, which is understandable. Like I think it's always been like that. A whole lot of people um, don't want the extra shit that comes with publishing stuff, and they prefer to keep it private. But hey, it's like that feedback for me is gold. Like with this particular one, a whole lot of women actually reached out to me and gave me props, and um, even shared some really private private thoughts and experiences with me that I'm not allowed to talk about, which I totally respect. Um, but that's the gold for me. Like, the feedback is the stuff that I absolutely cherish, and reminded me that that's what I do it for in the first place. That feedback. Um, What else have I been up to? Viv and I are still shooting a shit ton. Like, Viv is honestly become such a great friend over the last like almost 3 years, and she keeps me afloat too. And my Patreon keeps me afloat as well. So it looks like I've become a full time photographer this year, and the Patreon's making over $1,000 a month, and that definitely pays for my food and living, which is fantastic. And her and I have even been talking about like creating a new project of some sort. Like, we've been working on a ideas for a viral video about escorting. Not so much to like answer any kind of questions that people have, but more to ask more questions. Um, and that's something that I kind of want to try and rope in some really talented motion graphics people that I know. Like, these are guys that I've known since university and stuff, and they're out there doing some of the most amazing motion graphics stuff, even adverts on TV and movie title sequences. And man, if I can get one of those guys involved in this, I think it would really have legs. Um, another thing with Viv and I is like, we take quite in situ funny iPhone shots every now and then, and someone on Reddit stole one of our shots where I was like taking a photo of a bum, and he put up a sex ad on Reddit saying that we were a couple looking for another couple to play with, and that led us to finding a shit ton more photos. That was stolen from us and being used on Reddit. So usually I don't give a fuck about people stealing my stuff, because like you can spend so much energy trying to take it down, or you could just go, well, it's a form of flattery in some ways. Um, but Viv got pretty shitty about it. So we thought, if you can't beat them, join them. So we're both on Reddit now, and we're posting shit and owning it as well. So it's been interesting. Like, I've always been super scared of Reddit. It's really fosters a whole lot of negativity and a whole lot of people complaining about shit on there. But hey, it's been okay. It's been pretty positive. Whether or not it becomes something that I do every day, I'm not sure. But it's okay to have a presence on there, and Twitter as well. Like, I'm starting to tweet every now and then. But again, with all of that kind of shit, I just don't feel like I'm in control. Like, that's the saddest part about it. Like, at least with this podcast and with my blog, um, I run those platforms, and I can do whatever I want on them. And getting like, I got banned the other day on Facebook again, and every time I post something on Instagram, I think that I'm going to get banned as well. So like, the whole concept of being on other people's platforms and not being in control still doesn't sit right with me. Um, but yeah, like, apart from that, I've also been watching a shit ton of politics, which is really really weird for me. Like, I have never been into politics. I've never understood it. Um I just haven't ever watched the news really for so much of my life. I just don't have not watched the news. And um you know watching all this American shit, like the whole Trump and Biden stuff, and anti-Trump videos, anti-Biden stuff, like all of his gaffes and all that shit, and him sniffing hair and stuff. It's all been pure entertainment. Hey, like, I watch it because it's funny, um, and borderline unbelievable. The Antifa stuff, the BLM stuff, like, it's just radical. And it's almost like I'm really into watching all those documentaries about serial killers and all that crazy shit. But this stuff's like next level fucking crazy, and it's entertainment. So like, at some point in the day, I will hop on YouTube and go gunning for this shit. And It's hilarious that one of the videos that I did do ages ago about YouTube banning comments and stuff, it still gets comments every now and then, and it's also evident that YouTube is banning a shit ton of this stuff. Like if you want to go look for a video of Biden sniffing hair, like some of the best videos on the subject matter, um, do not turn up in search no matter how accurately you type the title in. It will not show up. So there is some shit going down where they're blocking videos unless you have the direct URL. So I just think again, I just think that this is going to happen more and more on these platforms where you have no control over it. It's not your platform. I used to get so shitty with getting banned off Facebook or Instagram, but end of the day, man, I was breaking the guidelines. I was breaking their rules. So fair call, I think. And it is what it is. So anyway, I want to wrap it up because it's my first foray back. Maybe I'll take the sunnies off at some point, but hey, fuck, it's early in the morning and I've got watery eyes still. So I'm going to have another coffee and make some breakfast and get into the day. But yeah, it is really good to be back having these Monday morning rants. I really hope to keep it up. And I really, ultimately, I hope that I can start doing podcasts again, even if I don't have the massive table set up. Like I do hope that um, I can use Zoom or something like that. And like Zoom seems to make it easy. Like I'm recording this on Zoom. So I'm not, editing my voice to make it sound better. I'm not adjusting volumes and I'm not using a separate camera anymore. And it's just plug and play. And it suits me right now. Um, so yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you hang around and listen to the next few that are coming. And I hope you guys are doing okay with this 2020 pandemic bullshit. And if anything, like I've been using it still as an extended way of recovering. I don't think it's a bad thing to actually stay at home because I've always enjoyed staying at home anyway. Like it's almost like nothing has changed for me. And living by Maruba Beach, when I go outside, it's like COVID doesn't exist out here. So I don't know how hardcore it is for you wherever you are, um, but I'm hoping that if you are going through um, a battle of like losing your fucking mind, well, maybe start writing or start buy a blank canvas and start painting because man, there's a lot a shit ton that can be done in a day, and the whole concept of being comfortable in your own skin doesn't matter where you are is worth chasing, because it's kind of where I'm at the moment. I sort of finding my zen again, and it's been a good year for me. So all right, I'll wrap it up and I'll catch you guys in the next one.